Kia ora Year 1 experts. This is a writing activity for you to do that makes you think about your 5 senses when you are writing today. I'm about to show you a photograph and it's titled Then and Now. So I want you to have a look at this photo. And what do you notice about it? Take your time to have a really good look. When I look at this photo, I can see that one side of the photo looks like today's time and the other side looks like the olden days. Is that what you noticed as well? How do we know this though? So for your writing today, you first need to decide which side you could be on. So you could either be in the olden day time or the today time. And I want you to really imagine that you are there on that escalator, going up or down the escalator in the subway station. Really picture yourself there. And while you're picturing yourself there, I want you to think about the 5 senses. The first one, as you can see on this slide, is smell. The next one is sight. The next one is touch. The next one is hearing. And the next one is taste. So when you're looking at that photograph and imagining yourself there, I want you to think about what you might be able to smell, what you might be able to see, what you might hear, what you might touch. What might the handrail feel like as you're going up or down the escalator? And the last sense is taste. That's an interesting one. Do you think you could taste anything if you were in this photograph? So those are the things you're going to be thinking about in your writing today. Now, on this slide, it's got some images to remind you. These are things that you can do in your writing all the time. Each sentence is going to start with a capital letter. Remember, you have to have a really good reason to use a capital. Don't use capitals just anywhere you like. You have to have a good reason. Beginning of a sentence, for the keyword I, for the first letter of somebody's name. You must remember finger spaces between the words so that the reader can understand your writing. You must remember your full stop at the end of each sentence. You must remember to read it back as you go to check that it makes sense. You must remember to listen for sounds in tricky words, those try words that you're going to underline. Use your yellow word card and your blue word card to help you with those sounds, beginning, middle, end sounds. Let's go back to the picture one more time, just to remind you. Okay, now, today when we're writing, we are learning to use words to describe the 5 senses. Why are you learning to do this in your writing? Is to make your writing more interesting for the reader. The success criteria for your writing today, you will need to use some or all of the 5 senses words in your writing. You can go back to the slide at the beginning to remind you what those are. I can smell, I can see, I can feel, I can hear, I can taste. To know that you've been successful in your writing, when you self-assess your writing, you can use a different colour, vivid or highlighter or pencil to circle all the feeling words that you used. Count how many, and did you use all the 5 senses in your writing? I'm going to come back with the next writing video where I will have written a sentence for you to help me self-assess. In the second part of this experts writing video about then and now, I have started my writing by writing one sentence. And in this one sentence, I have used a feeling word, or I've thought about one of those senses that we talked about at the beginning of the video, and I have used that in my first sentence. So this is just an example of what your writing could look and sound like. So in my book, or on my paper, I've set up my book with the day, the date, and my name, just like we do in the classroom. And for my picture plan for this topic, I decided to use some labels. So I have written the word then, and I've written the word now, and I've drawn some little symbols for our 5 senses. Remember, they were touch, taste, sight, hearing, and smell. And in this writing activity, you had to imagine yourself in that photograph of the subway escalator, and you were thinking about whether you were in today's time or whether you were in the olden day time. And you had to imagine yourself in that picture as if you were really, really there. So that had to take a lot of imagination. So for me to do this writing, I imagined that I was in the subway and I was on the olden day side. And I thought about what I might be able to hear if I was actually there in that photograph. So my sentence today, or my first sentence, says, when I'm under the ground in the subway, I can hear the train. So have a little think about what sense I used in that sentence. I'm going to circle it and let's see if you guess the right thing. So I'm going to circle this word here. I can hear the train. So what sense was I using to imagine that part of my sentence? That's right, I'm using my ears to hear the sound of the trains in the subway. Now, I've only circled one word, one sense word in my writing today. Your challenge was to try and use, do you remember how many I asked you to use? That's right, I asked you to try and use 5, all 5. So that's your challenge today. So you're going to go away now and have a go at using all 5. Get your mum or dad to take a photo and then send it through to your teacher. I hope you have fun with this activity. Remember, you can go back to the beginning of the video to look at that picture again and look at the slides where I'm reminding you about what you need to have in your writing, and also reminding you about what we're learning to do today, why we're learning to do that, and what your success criteria will be for you to be successful in your writing today. So good luck, experts. Can't wait to see all your amazing writing.